seated, everyone. We are going to start our session. So now we are going to turn into our third keynote session. So everyone, we are honored to have another distinguished speaker for this session, which is Dr. Zainun Mustafa, who will be presenting about a talk titled Strategically Revamp Your CV to Stand Out and Fit In. So before we welcome her, let me briefly share you about her background. Dr. Zainun Mustafa is a senior lecturer at Universiti Pendidikan Sultan Idris, specializing in training future teachers and research in science education. A graduate of Universiti Sains Malaysia, she completed her studies in 2019 and participated in notable programs, including the United Nations Young Leaders Program and the Khazanah ACE Executive Program. Prior to her academic career, Dr. Zainun worked with CMO Rexam, training teachers in Southeast Asia, and served as a postdoctoral officer at the National Child Development Research Center. She is also an associate researcher at the Institute of Islamic Understanding Malaysia. In addition to her teaching and research, Dr. Zainun is a sought-after speaker and has contributed to curriculum development for the Ministry of Education, appearing on various types of platforms. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Zainun Mustafa to the stage for presenting her talk.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. How are you, everyone? So I think you just completed your 3 minutes thesis competition, isn't it? So I believe you still excited about your thesis, and still the vibes of in academia and as a students really remind me my old times. So let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Zainun Mustafa, now serving at Universiti Pendidikan Sultan Idris, or known as Sultan Idris Education University, and I'm particularly focusing on science education and teacher trainings. So today my discussions or my presentations is on how we can narrate our CVs so that we can better fit with the institutional needs. So, I was there. I was in that shoes, in your shoes. So, let me take you a few years back. I was at 35 years old, a domestic mom, with a very long hiatus as a student. Basically, I'm not really contributing professionally. So, when I completed my Viva, I was thinking, how should I narrate my CV? What are the fragments should I emphasize? What are the areas that I would like to contribute? How I can shift my thinking as a student, to the professional and experts. So this is the context. This is me, 2018, 2019, Puan Zainun Mustafa. Means that I still didn't graduate yet. 2018, after I have completed my Viva. So at that time, basically before becoming the PhD students, I was just a government school teacher. And then I took fast-track PhD in this university, Universiti Sains Malaysia. Then I also just a domestic mom, every day in the kitchen, while managing time to complete my PhDs and the research, and also all the problem come together with the PhD is the package, right? The research technique is not right. Attending the methodology class, one after another, the statistical analysis, no, it is not right. You have to redo this again. And meeting one after another expert as to focus and to complete our PhDs. And also, I was self-funded and becoming GRA for quite a time, but understanding my situations, the fee is not cheap. So took part-time jobs, and shifting differ when I don't have enough money to pay fees, and having 2 children at that time, additional 2 children during PhDs, is no jokes, right? And then we said that burning the middle night candles, no. I think 24 hours I keep switching on my laptop. Whenever possible, we just try to sit and write something. Right, and differ whenever we cannot afford the fees and cannot manage things. And finally, I completed my Viva in 2018. But sadly, at that time, I just have 2 my side publications. So nothing much to brag, right? Nothing much to serve and to showcase in the academia. Okay. So basically, this is a personal anecdote. Stand out and crafting personal narratives. So, at that time, after I have completed my Viva, sorry, I'm still having problem with this. Sorry. This is backward. Okay. Then, I start to think, my panels is actually the experts in my field. So I write to one of them. I write to the external examiners, Professor Dato' Azizan Baharuddin. She is the General Director of Institute Kefahaman Islam Malaysia, Institute of Islamic Understanding. So when I write to her, I write my motivations. I would like to be in her team without really considering how much they want to pay me. Because the location, the office is in Kuala Lumpur, and I am here at USM. I cannot afford to travel back and forth, not to mention to shift to Kuala Lumpur. No, I don't think so, but I would like to contribute. So I just write to them. That's why I highlighted that. Just write. Take your time to think where you wanted to serve and write, even though whoever they are. Then I was taken as in a team as the affiliated associate researcher for short-term research. That was the first time I heard about this term, affiliated associate researchers. So I would like to share with you what it's all about. So basically, we serve as an RA for their groups. So, but they will treat you as an expert, as a researcher, rather than as a student. Then I participate in a project that garner the expert view about the Islamic thinking in science educations. The output also including books and radio slots. I was given the opportunity to be featured in a radio slots, ekim.fm. This was my first time I write for Scopus Index publications. Right, so it's okay. It's okay, take your time. It is a personal journey. And then in the same time, I built up a new networks from ekim Kuala Lumpur. So at that time, I was in USM, so Kuala Lumpur is quite alien for me, so I started to have some networks there. So, but and for 2 years, 2019 is the time when the COVID hits, right? So most of the time, I was sitting in front of my PCs and communicating, because suppose the research should be face-to-face. However, the pandemic happens, so we have to share. I think everyone have to do that. Then, after seeking advice with Dato' Azizan, I tried to apply. There is some job opening as a project staff for long-term research grant scheme, actually from CS, Dr. Haikal's projects. So I was become the part of his research team. At that time, we have Dr. Mashita and Dr. Haikal. So because they would like to develop educational module, so I would like to contribute. So that time I was actually contributing to CS, USM, and assist with the ethic declaration, application, instrument development, and initial research documentation with external parties. It's only very short period, six months only. But another thing I learned to my first WOS articles is actually in CS. So I really take my time to understand how to publish, how to understand journal, who are these predatory journals, what are the issues in academia, what in the publication line. So I took my time to understand those things, because as I try to support this team, so I learned a lot. What is about pro-environmental behavior, zero waste apps and everything. So I've managed to write an article and contribute to this research team. In the same time, I have another network from CSUSM. Okay, then, but the name of my as professionally, I was taken as project staff, associate affiliated research. Now the new term, project staff for a research. Okay, next. Then I was introduced again. Then after people start to know me that I'm taking projects and everything, so that then one of the faculty member recommended by faculty members. Before this, I write to a general director. The second one, I applied. The third one is recommended by faculty member. Why I emphasize that this is what are the routes that we can take after completing our PhDs. So I become the research assistant for fundamental FRGS. This is about number sense. Remember, my PhD is in science educations, but this is actually in mathematics educations. Before this is in CS, right? Then I also take another project because of the recommendations. Become the research officer for one of the project local implementation of SDG. This is the project with United Nations University with RCE USM as well. So this is basically they focus on policy statements. Oh, there are policy statements. How naive I was. Right. Oh, we can contribute to the policy statements. Wow, that's great. And for the United Nations University, wow, that's impressive. Right. I feel very good. Okay, now. And write the final report for the project. So it is quite interesting to work with these international collaborators because at that time I was taken as research officers. So new terms. Then, in the same time, I also work as a research officer for another grant, so 3 grants from RCE. Another one is Erasmus projects. Assist in the management of the research project, including documentation, visibility, managing the teachers' training, technical aspect, procurement procedures, LOA arrangement with the external parties, coordinate communication with the external parties, partner with university, bursary, state department, and teachers. Wow, basically communication officers lah. Right. So here I learned how to write a good report, how to write policy brief, how to become team-wise research skill, because all this while we work in silos. Then more publications. This is on ICT enabled in-service training. So what happened was, I started to realize it's too good to be true, but my CV was rojak in Bahasa, right? So basically it's a mess because I have everything there. I write in CS, I write for mathematics education. I think I have 4 scopus in that publication in mathematics education alone. And I also have publication with United Nations University. So it's a mess. I have everything. It is such a dump. Okay, so there are no clear niche. Huge challenge if aimed to penetrate the academia. So I think I just don't want to share the roots, but also the challenges. Don't do this. Not applicable for early career opportunities, such as early career grant. So there are early career research grants that we can apply, but you are not eligible if you don't have any institution emails. So all these wise, project staff, affiliated associate researchers, and research assistant, anything, you don't have institutional email. Means that is the barrier to apply for earlier career grants. So I need institutional emails. Then, no experience in higher education program structures such as program development or accreditations. I don't have experience in those. So means that I really focus on the research and because I work with the research institutes. And my work still resolved behind screen. All the networks is actually behind the screen networks. In fact, today I just met Dr. Nasuha, which I was collaborating with her years back. today I only able to meet her face to face. All this while we just know by names. So this is another problem. So what I have to do, I need to restructure my CV. So now I move forwards. I move forward. Understanding now my CV is a mess. I have to move forwards. Now I applied as a postdoctoral officers at the National Child Development Center. Now the research is in science education, finally. So I try to write as much as I can, and also my CV is now evolved, linking to Google Scholar, Scopus, and WOS-ID. So now I have quite number of publications and also contributing to the high in-depth publication in my field. Okay, then, so I think then in the same time, having that I already established networks, now it's about the media coverage. I become the panel for the biodiversity podcast. I talk about environmental justice in science education. I also featured in national television, in the TV Al Hijrah, and also in the IKIM, and also I involved as the panelist in the roundtable discussion. All is in my field. This is actually happened between 2019 until 2021, within 2 years. So the project that I have involved is actually in the same time. I discussed with the principal investigators, is it okay if I took more project? When they agreed, so I just take it. So I just managing everything behind the screen. In the same time, when we crafting our CVs, it is important to let those who are going to take us know what is our interest. So here come the non-academics. For instance, I started to join in the National STEM Association, and I volunteered to become the newsletter editors until now. I also become the United Nations volunteer. For information, try to search on this. Remote volunteers. So we can contribute as the remote volunteers. Try to search about it. So something might be, especially in CS, I believe there are United Nations Institute of Statistics are looking for your expertise. UNESCO's, and in fact, as a graphic designers, they are looking for more and more for the remote volunteers. Okay, some of it you will get some payments, some not. But if you take something that field volunteers, you will get paid, actually. Of course, in terms of honorarium. So if you're interested with that, please do. But in my case, with small children at home, I don't think that I can go to field work. So I took the remote volunteerism. There are platform. There you can see at that side. That's the laser works. This one. For instance, you can join in the platform and you can take tasks. You can choose your tasks. This is the newsletter volunteers. And I also become the mentor for the Future Labs. I assist those women who are come back to the job markets. For instance, those who are having domestic violence and they have, some issues in their families, they would like to come back in the professionals. So I volunteered to become their mentors as well. And then I also become the mentor for the Sukuba Livanese. This is actually industry partners. So volunteer for the students in Philippines and global and ambassador project. So this is how I started to craft my interests, to let them know what is actually my interest is. Okay. Okay, now I started to understand. Now I started to put my position from students to a professional. Sorry for spelling mistakes. So now I have publication in related field. And I also have some media coverage. I also highlight my social contributions. Now, still, my problem is I don't have no formal emails or official paychecks. Why this is important? I will come back to this later. And basically, I was underpaid. That's why I'm taking multiple jobs. Of course, it looks so many things in my plate, but still underpaid because I took payment is not at the PhD level, and it's okay because I understand my situation at that time. I don't have much on my CVs, so I really wanted to learn and involve with as much many teams and also develop my extended networks. So remember, I started to look in this way. There is not just bullet points in my CV. There were stories that show my commitments, adaptability, and also the leadership. When I started to frame my CV around these stories, aligning them with the institution that I'm looking for, it actually transformed everything. Okay? Now, from that, since I already have all these things, now I really go to the professionals. I applied, again, this is the highlights here. I applied to an intergovernmental institution known as Semio-Rexam. This is online, is actually mistakes. Semio-Rexam is Southeast Asian Ministry of Education in science and regional science and mathematics education. So basically, it is similar to ASEAN, but in Ministry of Education. So what they did, actually, we did at Semio-Rexam, I started to involve in regional and international levels. So try to look to these kind of institutions. They need academics, they need researchers, they need trainers. So here, we started to work with capacity building for the teachers in Southeast Asia and also Global South. So what they did is actually, there is fully funded program for teachers, free, by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Japan and also JICAS and also Asian Development Bank are contributing to this institution to provide training for free for the teachers around the globe. So as a trainer, we develop the training courses. So it's quite surprising for me, who are basically know nothing about this, literally from my kitchens, coming out to the professional, I was like, oh, there are these kind of institutions. So here, I can see there are role of multilateralism and also intergovernmental sense in the, and also the project management. Okay, at this time, I rejected postdoc from USM. But there is actually one thing that I learned. Actually, the postdoc pace is different in according to different institutions. For instance, UPS, the National Child Research Development Center is actually paid very less as compared to USM, which quite awesome in a pace. So maybe when you try to look for the postdoc, try to find out how much actually they pay for you. Basically, postdoc, there are no single rules of how the payment as a researcher, even though the job scope is the same. So try to look at it as well. In the same time, I rejected postdoc, but also I was rejected by International Open University because I applied to become academics. Why? Because I don't have any experience in program development. How is actually degree program is established? How postgraduate program is established? How the curriculum is actually designed? So I don't have those experiences. So I was rejected by these institutions. So another thing that popped up in my mind, oh, I need these skills. I need this experience actually to penetrate. And also I would like to invite all of you to try to look for the intergovernmental that related to CS according to your field. There are a lot actually. Try to look into World Bank, try to look into ASEAN Development Bank, try to look into ICISCO, try to look for UNESCO, United Nations chapters. And in fact, in your respective country, for MENA countries, they have their own intergovernmental institutions. And also African countries, a lot of intergovernmental institutions. And in fact, there are really quite huge funding now towards African countries. Because they are trying to bridge a lot of activities, multilateralism and bilateralism as well. If you follow the UNGA, United Nations General Assembly, last week, a part of the bombing and everything. Actually, they are really looking into youth voices and also multilateralism. So I believe that will be the direction for the future. Okay, next. I also started to, this is another interesting stories. Because when I be in semi-orexum, I started to understand I'm not really quite fit to understand what is going on there. So I started to join the in-service training. For instance, the ASEAN Initiative Youth Empowerment Program, SHAPE-C program training for human rights, Young Leaders Online Training by United Nations, Project Management Training by Khazanah Executive. Now, this is all funded with scholarships. The question is, when I read those requirements, it is quite interesting they put the age frame. It is between less than 30 years old, less than 35 years old. Unfortunately, I already above the shillings. Well, I'm not young anymore. So, what I did was, young leadership course, no, not the problem. Write a strong motivational letters to remove those age caps. Emphasize the why. Why you are deserved to attend those trainings. Write a motivation letter to the organization. Believe me, I have been selected. Even though I already passed this both the age shillings. So don't worry. Whenever you saw this age, because if you try to look into these courses, they put the youth and age caps. You can remove it by putting your strong motivation letter. For instance, why you take so long to apply for this? What are the issues that you are trying to address? Why you are the training is so important so that you can maybe change your community, transform your community. So emphasize on that. Now, your CV have international flavors. Right. If you look into the academia now, they really wanted to have international flavors. So now this is how, for instance, the United Nations volunteers and also this training will put those spices in your CVs. Okay. Now, try to look for those Malaysian. Try to look into Khazanah. Khazanah provided a lot of fully funded trainings as well. It's quite interesting. In fact, if you stand out much, maybe you can have this. You can be sponsored to go to the foreign countries and attend those trainings. Try to look into MTCPs, TTCPs. These are the trainings is fully funded, especially for the global south. Okay. In academia, now, after my CV is now have all the senses, all the spices. Now academia, transition or destinations. Okay, what I didn't know at that time was that standing out in today's world, is in 2018 when I started to write my first CV. World is not just about what you have done. There is a plenty of people who have done the same thing that you have. You have PhD, other people also have PhDs in the similar field. So what makes you stand out? That will be the questions, right? So it's about how you strategically tell your story and more importantly, how you tailor it to align with the institution or company that you are looking for. Okay, now I'm standing in front of you as a senior lecturers. But basically, I still consider as early career. I'm sharing with you my own personal journey that I don't know at my time. I really don't know this time. In fact, the terms in academia also quite alien to me at that time. So I really hope by sharing this to you guys, you may look and search into some details, perhaps give you some glimpse, some things that you can maybe learn a little bit from my experiences. And don't have to fall in the same hole such as trash CVs, right? Because of you dump in everything. Okay? Then I received grants from Thailand in environmental justice, and also I've been assigned, become the principal for the consultancy by Habitat Foundation. So I'm very new, only 2 years. So but still I believe that my CV tell a lot. Okay, now when I am now in academia, what I would like to do? I would like to benefit my networks that have been established after my PhDs. So these are the collaboration at the indigenous schools, and this is the trainings. The training with the Southeast Asian teachers after completing my PhDs. When I become the academia, so I give back to the community that I have been working in. These are from IKIM. Remember, I become the associate researchers that I write to the general director. Now I bring them into my academia and try to start collaboration with my colleagues with them. And also these are the for the TV programs. I was invited to become the panelist. This is started to establish another. This is Panda Education, which I learned about them when I was in semi-Orexam. Now I'm bringing them to my institution as well. So basically, last time they are my friends. Now when I leave them, they are now my networks. So I would like to benefit them as well. And believe me, LinkedIn is no jokes. I'm able to invite person from UNESCO. I started to have new collaborations and also become the moderators for conferences that are not belong to UPSI. So LinkedIn is no joke, guys. Try to really pull out your LinkedIn. Try to frame it as the professional that you want them to look, the way you want them to look at you, see at you. Frame that. Okay, life might take different direction, but still, that's why I told you, the academia might become a transition or direction, but I still revamping my CVs. I started to attend for competitions and also write for public readerships, and also I contribute for the community more than what I did before. Because I don't really think I put my opportunity open, so that maybe academia is the final destination, or maybe not. But if I decided to leave, I have strong CV. I don't have to redo this again, because I already learned through hard way after my PhDs. Okay, build trust and networks. Okay, so I started to reach communities and try to. Here is the program with the Department of Education. I would like to highlight here. Now I started to become one of the committees in the program development and accreditations. Now I'm filling my gaps. What I don't know, at that time they was questioning me when I attended those interviews. I still remember that. That's why I volunteered myself. Basically, I believe most of people in academia don't really keen to do this, but I really wanted to do this because it's so thorough documentations. But I have my own, I see this as opportunities. And also, I also sensing my friends and my colleagues at UPSI as my networks as well. So I really wanted to have good interrelations with them as well. So finally, also not just become the participant for the competition, I also become the judge for the QS Reimagine Education. It's quite, maybe quite familiar with you guys, right? The QS rankings and everything. So I'm one of the judge now. Okay, I also contribute to the curriculum development for Kementerian Ministry of Education Malaysia. This is the indigenous communities. This is creative teaching and learning with the school students. So same situation, now different emphasis and different perspective. If you still remember, from I am just a teacher in my first slide. Now I can tell them, I was a teacher with long years of teaching experience, From a domestic mom with 8 years of hiatus, now I am the one shattering the glass wall. I'm the example of resilience. That's what I would like to portray. Now, important. Okay, now I would like to come back with this. Why it is so important to have a pay slip before entering academia? Because during the interview, they will ask you, what is your last paycheck? Then you can bid for your higher salaries. If you come without that, I believe you will go for the ground payments. So try, maybe possible to do that. Because they will compare what is your last payment so that we can pay you higher. Well, because I was shifted from intergovernmental institutions, so yes, I can give these pay slips. Remember, as research officers, I don't have pay slip. Postdoc, I don't have. They do pay me, but there is no proper pay slips. And then, remember, then stories. Okay, I would like to regarding this. Those training for the young leaders. What I write is, I am young at heart. So it does sell. I keep repetitively use the same thing. Now I'm sharing the strategy to you. I hope that you are not become the competitor for me now. So just highlight, you are young at heart. Okay. Then remember, when you ask for, when you write or you apply for some jobs, actually, those people who are interviewing you sensing you as the future colleagues. Sometimes it's not those credits that make them pay attention to you, but your interests. What is your social contributions? What is your hobbies? Because you will become their colleagues. So maybe some personality will attract them to you. Now, open up also for the bigger picture. Try to look into different angles as well. Facing rejection and building resilience. Whether you are just starting out or making a mid-career shift, remember, your CV is the map of your journey. But you can choose the route. You choose the route. How you want them to look at you. What are the perspective that you can frame that so that people will look into that lens. The road might be winding, but with unexpected stops. But each of those stops is part of the story that you are making you stand out. Don't worry, whatever the experience, it counts. Okay, now this sharing is not just. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this experience. I don't want to make it look nice. No, it is not. Facing rejection is huge. Until now, I'm also facing rejection after grants, right? So it is not easy, but try to overcome those with the resilience and strategically try to fill in those gaps. Because it is evolving, make your evolving, right? So remember, so today, as you think about your career, please take a fresh look at your CVs. And also, don't just list your jobs and qualifications. Narrate it, highlight the passions that with you. And try to, what are the lessons that you have learned? What are the values that you would like to bring? Through what? The volunteers. Through what? The research that you write. You choose that. You choose that. Okay, and you don't have to fit the mold, because when you strategically tell your stories, you will stand out. And finally, when stand out, you won't just find a job, but you will find the opportunity that you deserve. So I really hope this sharing might somehow open some ideas, perhaps. Maybe you can glance through those institutions. Maybe you can revamp your career, your CVs, and stand out. It's okay. Whatever experience that bring you into USM. Whoever you are before, now you are in your postgraduate studies, you are now penetrating to something huge and believe in yourself. So I think this is my end slide. So do we have any Q&A? I think that's all.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. Alright, so Doctor, basically you are sharing about after we finish our PhD, right? So I mean like it'll be different, I mean from case to case basis. So I would like to ask your opinion, for example, as a PhD student itself that is still ongoing, we are still doing a PhD. I mean, of course we should prioritize our research because that is our main thing. But what is your opinion about joining other activities, you know, doing whatever we can, becoming a research assistant as well, teaching assistant, becoming part of all the activities organized by the school or outside of the school even, or maybe if it's possible also for us to join all these UNC during our period of study. So what is your opinion in us to be actively also involved while doing PhD and not only waiting until we finish the PhD?
Okay, so yes, thank you for highlighting that. This is actually the story of my mistakes, because I didn't did any of this during my PhD. Suppose we have to do this during our PhDs. That's why the age cap is there. If you can do this before you are at my age, 35 years old, you are still maybe 28, 26. You just go for it. You don't have to remove those age barrier now. So try to involve as much as activities, not just in university and also beyond. Build the network now. If you already have some vision. In my case, I don't have this ambition to enter academia. To let you know, even though my PhD was fast track, I do take very long time because I didn't plan to come back to work. But the COVID hits, and the economy, the family economy was in turmoil. So I have to take the charge, helping out and assisting. That's why I come out from my kitchen, because I don't plan with that. Thank you very much, sir. So if possible, try to identify those opportunities. That in fact this year I believe there will be a lot of young leadership program will be open, because now they are really looking for the young voices. But those who are young at heart, just like me, don't worry. Just remove those age cap by writing the strong motivation letters. Because when I saw this requirement, I saw those age cap, actually I feel belittled. I feel like they are not giving the right or the similar opportunities to those with young at hearts. But those who are still young, please take as much as opportunity, try to grab those things, because most of them are fully funded. So you might get to travel around and build network since like now. Why wait? In my case, it's because my mistakes. It's not mistake because I decided to do that. That's why I just go for the minimum requirement for the publication, because this is the requirement for graduating PhD at that time. I didn't plan to go back to work. So that's the route is quite different. But I believe that's why I would like to share this. If possible, try to take this opportunity as early as you can. So whenever you graduated, you already have a very good CVs. So that people, wherever you would like to go, even though the industry, the academia, people will think not just twice, don't even think to remove you from their list, because you are so strong. So I think it answers.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Zainun Mustafa. Ladies and gentlemen, now come along, let's have a change. Now it's time to present the last lucky draw session today.
Okay. So let me call upon Dr. Zarul to the stage to pick up the last group of lucky numbers. So I wish I'm lucky too this time. So ladies and gentlemen, are you ready with the numbers in your hand? So let's begin.
Okay. Hello. Okay, I'm expecting my number. One, 0, 2. 1, 0, 2. Calling once, twice, thrice. Okay, done. 21. 21. Calling once, twice. Done. So lucky then. 96. 96. One, twice. Hui. So many opportunity. Okay. Next. 38. 38. Check your numbers. Once. So no, huh? Okay, next. One, two, one. Toilet. Okay, gone. 1 to 1. No, huh? 1, 3, 8. Okay. One, 3, 1. Tadi 1, 3, 8. 1, 3, 1. No, right? No? Okay. So fast. The lucky number 88. 88. 88. 88. Lucky number. No, not so lucky lah. Nearly there. 23. Oh, okay. Okay, congratulations. Okay, 2 to go. 35. Oh, okay. Congratulations. Okay, last but not least, the grand prize. One, 4, 9.
Thank you, Dr. Zarul, for giving away those prizes. So you may have your seat. So again, congratulations to all those lucky winners.